Here we go. We go. Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. This is the Paper Pumpkin. I'm Brenda Miller, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Basking Ridge, New Jersey, and we will be working on the January 2023 Key to My Heart Paper Pumpkin kit. So we're going to make one of each of the projects, and then I'm going to share some alternative projects that you can make with the same supplies and maybe a few extras. So without further ado, I've been using that phrase a lot. Let's spotlight my desktop, woohoo, because it's very exciting. But we're going to start at the very beginning, which means we're going to open our box. So Nina and Lois, I don't know if you've already.
I have not.
So
I did. I just did.
Okay.
So
Some people,
started.
have to open it the moment that it is received. But
It depends what else is going on for me. If I'm
I
busy with tons of other stuff, then
yeah. So anyway, so what's included in the kit is we always get a spot. So this one is Fresh Freesia, which is a great color to have. I have to tell you, I have been using Fresh Freesia constantly. And I don't know if it's because the Celebration DSP just has a lot of Fresh Freesia in it, but I think I've used, I don't know, 5 packages of Fresh Freesia in the last month. So that's a lot of paper. But so this is a great color. It's one of the in colors that is retiring. Why isn't, I'm not getting a very clear image, but there we go. But that it won't be retiring until the end of April. But if it's a big pad that you want to make sure that you get it. So then we have our stamp set. So it's a clear mount. And Nina, since this is your first time, you should also have a clear block that came with yours. And that's what you'll use to mount your stamps. And if you have any questions at any point, just chime in, okay?
Okay.
Then we have our little insert. So this one talks about the heart-shaped boxes that you can get if you are interested to make Valentine's. And then on the other side, it's talking about next month's kit. So we always like to see that. And it coordinates with the Sunshine and Smiles. Oh, is that what the name of the bundle is? Okay, let's look at the bundle it coordinates with, because now I want to know. But what's interesting about next month's bundle, next month's Paper Pumpkin kit is that not only does it coordinate, but you can also get an add-on of a set of dies, 2 little teeny tiny dies that you can get. Why am I not finding this, Lois? This is where
I don't know, but I just received them, I think.
Yep, I got mine too. And
Smiles dies. It's a little tiny.
oh, let me show you. Yeah, let's spotlight Lois. Yep. So yep, those are your little dies, but I'm still gonna, you do that and I'll find the sweet that it goes with. Okay, I got it. So it the sweet itself. Oh yeah, look how tiny those are. But it actually outlines the frog and the flowers that are going to be included in the stamp set that is coming in the next kit. So if you do any die cutting at all, I highly recommend that. So let me spotlight this.
Yeah, don't spotlight me.
Sorry, I got to switch it. I got to replace.
It's been a long day.
Hang on a second. I'm usually much smoother with this. Replace spotlight. There we go. So this is it's the Rain or Shine suite in the mini catalog. And remember, it just coordinates with it, but it does have some wonderful little elements in there and some gorgeous DSP. So there'll be some, it won't be the same. It'll just coordinate with it. But anyway.
So I could just go online and order some of that?
You can, as a subscriber, you can order the dies that go with it, and you can order whatever you'd like from the, do you have one of these catalogs?
No.
Okay, so we have to get one to you. Are you?
Yeah, I can send one out to you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Let's make sure we get that to her. And just for, because now well, here, I'm just going to tell you the page numbers that it's on so that when you get it, you know what you're looking for. But of course, I closed it, and you would think I know this by heart by now because I only look in here 100 times a day. It is on pages 50 and 51 in the catalog. So, okay. So that being said, I'm going to mention that this kit, usually the tissue paper is like a light blue, and this time it's Fresh Freesia. And that may be something to note later on. Just saying. We'll see. Okay. Teasing something. All right, so let's go ahead and open our package. And as we do, the hardest part, what I like to do, Nina, the way that I work this is we go through the piles together of all the different supplies, and we separate out one of each of the cards, and we make a pile for each of those. And so when you hear me say this will be card 1, card 2, and card 3, that's because those are the cards. So what I did is on the reverse side of all the packaging is our instruction booklet. So in this booklet, it has obviously the instructions, and that's what I follow in order to do. I just really follow the directions as they are. And you'll note that the last page of it shows you cards 1, 2, and 3, the different supplies, but that's what I'm walking you through now. So as we go, so this is Calypso Coral twine. Okay, so it's very easy to work with, and we'll be using a bunch of that. So hold that aside, and then you get dimensionals, which of course we will use on pretty much every card. Then we have our beautifully lined envelopes, and you can see that the Fresh Freesia inside has little keys on it. So we won't use the envelopes for this class, but make sure you put them someplace safe so that you can use them when you're sending out your cards.
Okay.
Next, we have our Petal Pink card base that has the keyhole on what will be the front, and that is card number 3. So I'm going to put that over here. This is going to be my card number 3 pile. And then I'm going to take the other 2 and put them aside because you can use them later. Next, we have our Fresh Freesia card base, and this is card number 2. And again, you'll take the other 2 and put them aside. This is nice. Sometimes all the card bases are not together, so I just like to go through page by page. So next we have one more of the Petal Pink. This one has the gold on the front, which is really pretty, and that's actually card number 1. So now we have our 3 card piles, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So now we get into the fun stuff. First up, we have 3 sheets of vellum. So just take the first sheet, and the other 2 you'll put aside because we're only making 1 card. And we're going to punch out the 3 items that are on this sheet. Very easy. So this is vellum. So it's a nice thin paper that's translucent, so you can kind of see through it. The long strip goes with card number 1. So I'll put that in my card number 1 pile. The short banner, the one with the flagged ends, that one goes with card number 3. And that giant circle is going with card number 2. All right. So next, we have our different die cut embellishments. So we're only going to use 1 sheet. So put the other 2 aside, and then we're going to punch each of these out. I'm going to start with with this one. I don't even know. This is the outline is Mango Melody, I believe.
Yeah,
And
I think
this
so.
one, yep, this one can go with card number 1. I'm gonna go clockwise. So the next one is Calypso Coral background. And that one also goes with card number 1. The heart-shaped one with gold on the outside. That one also is card number 1. Then we have 2 keys. One of the keys goes with card number 2. And the other key goes with card number 3. The last 2 locks are going to go with card number 2. So we'll just take, I like the way that these just punch right out. I think that it's a nice clean punch. We've gotten a lot better with that. This kit has improved a lot. So Nina, how did your husband get the idea to send this to you, to give this to you for the holiday?
As I said, I'm a scrapbooker, stamper, card maker. And one of my best friends who moved to North Carolina, and we still FaceTime and do all this stuff, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
But she was raving about the kits.
Oh,
So
nice.
I had said, I gotta try this, but then I'm almost like feeling guilty going, but I bought all these stamps, I bought all these, do I really need to do this? So
Yes.
he said, okay, I only gave you 3 months so that you could figure out what you want to do.
Well, that's great. That's fun that you have a friend who also does it. You could make the rest of these with her.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So next we have our fresh freesia die cuts, and we only need one of these, and it goes with card number 1. Yeah. And then we have the sentiment banners, and we get lots of these. You'll notice that we always get extras. They have 4 of each, and we only need 3. So there's room for mistakes, which is always nice. So I'm holding it this way. I'm starting with the one that has the mango melody on the ends. And this one actually goes with card number 3. And then I'm going to move to the one that has the slanted ends. And that one goes with card number 2. And the last one is the one that has the flagged ends. And that goes with card number 1. Now, one thing I want you to know, Nina, is that there's also a fast action video that Stampin' Up! Puts together for each of the different kits. So it's something that you can just watch through. Like when I first get my kit, I will watch that video just to see if they have any special recommendations, and then I take it from there. But we like to do this to make at least one of each together, because a lot of people were getting their kits and they were piling up because they weren't actually making them. They weren't even opening them. So
it's so easy to do.
Yes.
That stuff is addicting, and then it's
Yes.
finding the time to do it.
Right, exactly. So this makes people sit down and do it. So anyway, the last thing that's in here, these are glue dots, basically. Yeah. And this is Stampin' Up's way of being able to distribute adhesive easily in the kits. All these kits are designed for people who have no stamping supplies, and that's how they're designed. Just so that you know, I never use these. I just save them, I hoard them, and I give them to people who don't have adhesive otherwise. They're a little bit hard to work with, they're a little cumbersome, and I'm sure if you're a scrapbooker and card maker, you have some other means of adhesive. So I'm going to be using our Stampin' Seal for
Same.
Okay. So now we can just get rid of that piece of cardboard and we can get started. So I'm just going to slide all of my piles up, and I'm going to pull down the pile that for card number 1. Okay. So here we go. So we have all of our little pieces. And the first thing we're going to do is to fold our card and give it a nice crease. I need to get my scoring bone right here. There we go. So we use the scoring bone to give it a nice crease. There we go. Okay. So let me show you also. I know we like to see it. This is the card. This is what the card's going to look like when we're done. And I just made it earlier today with my other kit. So there, oops, I'm just going to put that so you can kind of see what we're aiming for. But the first thing, what we like to do now is to do our stamping. It's minimal stamping on this. Actually, this whole kit is minimal stamping, which is really kind of funny. And we're going to be stamping on these 2 pieces, the big fresh freesia piece and the sentiment tag, if you will. Now you're going to want to open your ink pad, and to do that, you just take your scissors and go along the creases. Because I have every color, I'm going to be using my large ink pad, and I save mine, and I do a lot of donating of supplies, and I donate all my little spots. Plus, a bigger pad is easier for me to work with, but you probably don't have fresh freesia in your collection at the moment.
No, I don't.
Right. Okay, so once you get your spot open, you're going to mount the from the stamp set, the little hearts. So there are a whole bunch of little hearts all together. And you're going to mount those onto your block.
And if you're using the small spot, yeah, what I tend to do is take the spot and turn it upside down and stamp it that way, as opposed to trying to line it up.
Right, exactly. So I was going to show that. So if you're going to,
oh, sorry,
it's okay, because I knew we had her. Once we have, so what Lois is saying is, once you have your stamp on the block, you can just turn it over so the stamp is up, and then take your ink pad and just tap it to make sure that you get it inked up. And that's just an easy way to do it when you're working with when your stamp pad is smaller than your stamp, which sometimes happens even with the big ones. And we're going to stamp it 2 times, once in the bottom left corner, and the same hearts once in the top right. And once you do that, you can take that off. Now it's up to you. You can clean your stamps. You can use a baby wipe. You can, I don't know what you normally use. We have lots of different stamp cleaners. I just leave mine dirty, I'll be honest, because I tend to use them again and again. So I'm not actually cleaning mine off, but you're going to want to take it off, and then you're going to mount the stamp that says "To My Valentine." And we're going to stamp that onto the little sentiment tag. And that's all the stamping on this card.
Wait, put that in the pocket. I don't want it crooked when I put it.
Oh my goodness, when I'm making the alternative projects, I spread the supplies out, and then I pick them up and I use them, or I look at them and then I put them down, and then I can't find them again. It's just, I spend half the time looking mostly for the stamp set. Like, where, because it's a clear stamp set. Where did I put it?
Yeah.
It's always under something. So, okay. So once we have that, we're going to put our card together. So we're going to, the very first piece is the large fresh freesia, and I'm just going to put a stripe of adhesive. Don't need a lot, and it's going to be added right to the center of the card. next, we're going to add our vellum piece. And for this, one thing to note about vellum is that adhesive shows through. So
Yeah.
when you look at this, let's just put some adhesive in the center because just the ends are going to show for this. So because we know that, we can just put a little bit of adhesive in the center. And then that gets, I guess they did it this way. There's just a slight overlap here for those two. So those are our first two pieces.
I'm actually using tape, so I'm taking a little bit longer.
That's okay. Yep. Just tell me if I'm going too fast. So we'll stop.
Give me one more second.
Yep. Take your time.
I got everything taped. It's just now peeling it off the paper. So you put it in the middle.
Yep.
And then the vellum.
It's right underneath.
Slightly overlapping or no?
I did. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
slightly overlapping, but you're never going to know anyway. Won't
Okay,
matter.
now I'm caught up.
Okay, great. So now we're
Sorry.
going to take our twine and we are going to measure out 15 inches. And you'll
15.
see that on the side of our instructions, you have a ruler. So
Oh,
we're just going to, yep, they think of everything. We're just
I'm
going to
like pulling out a ruler.
So we're just going to measure out the 15 inches and give it a little snip at the end. Put our instructions aside again. And the way that we're going to do this is we could tie a giant bow and lay it down, but instead, it's funny, you know, things evolve the way people do things. What I'm going to do is take my adhesive and just lay out one line on the vellum. And we're going to put the string or twine, whatever. We're going to lay it down. We're going to bring it back around so that we have a loop at one end. It doesn't matter if it goes over, because this is just going to be sticking out. And so it doesn't matter what it looks like underneath. It can be a big mess. And that's what I ended up doing. Okay.
Getting there.
Yep.
Yes, I need more time. Sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. And this is just a technique that they've been doing a lot lately. I've been noticing is just, you know, taking ribbon or twine or whatever, putting it behind another element that gets popped up with a dimensional. And then the strings stick out. We used to agonize over that, right, Lois? On how to get that to lay properly. Now we don't have to worry anymore. We just slap it down. Why we never thought of that before, I don't know.
I don't know either.
So now we have, we're going to put down our sentiment. And for this, we're going to use our dimensionals. These are double-sided foam adhesive. Okay, and I'm going to use 2. I'm going to peel off the backing once I get it down. And I'm going to just lay it over the ribbon right in the center. No. So you can see it doesn't really matter what it looks like at the ends.
I kind of ended up with a double bow on there.
That's okay. It's all good. Plus, remember, nobody saw the original, right? That does not matter what it looks like. Make it your own. Feel free.
Okay.
All right. Are we ready to move on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So now we're going to take our 3 locks and we're going to add them to the card using dimensionals. So I like to put the ones on the sides on first and the one in the middle over the other 2. So you see how I've done it here. So I laid these 2 down first
Oh,
and
okay.
then I put the one in the middle. So that's what I'm going to do. And I just use 1 dimensional for each of these. So
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yep. I just use 1. Yeah, they of course recommend 2, but these are very strong and there's never a reason, I don't think, to use more than necessary. Plus I had the horrible situation where I ran out. And ever since that happened, that was just a few weeks ago, I realized just how often I use dimensionals. And then I'm just tucking the little ends underneath the banner. And then the last one in the center, just overlapping. I love just how quick and easy this is. Yep. You got a little gold going on there, which adds a little shine. So it is positively perfect. All right. Are we ready to move on to the next one?
We sure are.
Okay. Terrific. All right. So now we're going to pull down the pieces for card number 2. Fewer pieces here. And we're going to stamp again. First, well, actually, first let's fold our card. Oh, and here's the card we're going to be making. This is what it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty. So we have our card folded, and now we can just push it over so that we can do a little bit of stamping. We are going to stamp right on the background.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're going to use those same hearts again. And we're just adding them behind what will end up being the vellum over it. And so let me show you. This is where they have us stamping. We have 1 set of the little hearts up here and another set down here.
Okay.
You can see how the gold is actually resisting the ink. Okay, so that it looks like the hearts are behind the gold.
It does.
Right?
That's cool.
It gets absorbed into the paper, but it does not absorb into the gold. So it is a fun technique that we can do. But this makes it much easier because they're done for us. And then the words they use here is love is the key. You can use whichever ones you want. I'm going to use love is the key. If I can find it, here it is. So love is the key. And we just ink that up and put that in the center of the sentiment tag. Again, that's all the stamping.
Wow, there really isn't much.
No, right? Not a lot of stamping. Which is fine, right?
Yeah.
Makes it easy.
I like the fonts on these.
Yeah, aren't they pretty? I do like them. All right. How are we doing? Are we stamped?
We're stamped.
Okay. So next we're going to take our circle. And with this, again, we have to be careful about where we put our adhesive. We don't need a lot. So I'm going to put 1 in the center because I know I'm going to be putting one of the locks on top of that. And I'm going to put another little bit down to the side. Now, remember, if you're going to do the center and to the side, when you flip it over, it's on the other side, but it's okay because you just turn the circle. It's very forgiving. You just want to make sure that we're going to be covering up where the adhesive is. Do you use vellum, Nina?
No, you know, it's funny. I was just cleaning out my stuff and I found a ton of it, but I have not used it. Okay, one in the center. And where did you say the second
I
one
just
went?
put one down at one of the sides, and then just when you lay it down, you're going
Yeah.
to make sure that it's in a place that we're going to be covering it. So again, this is the card.
Okay.
And it doesn't show through too badly right now, but sometimes it definitely in certain lights will look worse. So once we have our circle down, now we can start putting the other pieces on. So the first we'll do is our locks. So we'll do one dimensional on the back of each. Again, I'll show you how I laid those down. First, I'm going to do the one in the center on a jaunty angle. I'm all about jaunty angles. And then the second one, a little less angled. Okay. So that's how those end up looking.
Now I just realized I'm looking and I see my name by the camera, but my camera is not on. Is that right?
Well,
Or
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
At the bottom, if you push start video, we'll see you. I thought you didn't want us to see you, which
Yeah,
is
I thought so too. So I
no,
didn't say
I'm
anything.
sorry.
it's okay. There
I'm
you are.
here.
Hi.
Hi. I even waved
Better.
to you earlier, Lois.
Oh, great.
That's so fun.
All of a sudden, I'm going, wait a minute.
We're also going to put the sentiment tag on with a dimensional. You could use one or two. I might use two this time. So to hold it up. And it's just going to go underneath where the hearts are. The little hearts.
I guess I got so used to FaceTime, I forgot how Zoom.
Yeah, FaceTime
That's
is automatic.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So now we're going to take our key, and I just put a little bit of adhesive on the back. I don't have one of my mats here, so I'm just going to carefully put a little adhesive. You could use the glue dots if you want that they give you. And for the key, we're going to try to connect all the elements just because that's aesthetically pleasing. Okay, so I'm going to just put it on an angle so that it touches the words and it touches both of the locks. So kind of where they overlap. Okay, and that just keeps the flow of the card, of the design. And the last thing is everybody's favorite. We're going to tie a bow. You're going to need about 6 inches. So you can measure that again if you want. I just eyeball it. We're going to just tie a bow. And just wrap it around. You could do bunny ears, whatever works for you. Get a nice bow. And then we're going to adhere the bow right on the key. To adhere the bow, I am going to actually use one of the glue dots. That is the most efficient way of applying ribbon of any kind. And usually I have a roll of glue dots, but I don't have a roll out with right now. So I'm just going to use my scissors and pull off one of the little glue dots. I'm going to put it right onto my key. Take off, whoops, take off the backing, which to me is the hardest part of the whole thing.
That is by far the hardest part.
That's why I can't, I don't know how people
That's
do
why
it.
I don't use them,
Yeah,
because it drives me crazy.
it does, but they are, they are convenient.
Oh, they're very
Yeah.
handy, and
Yeah.
plenty of people have great luck with them. I'm just not one of them.
Yep, I have a nice sharp pair of scissors. So then you just lay down your little bow and you're done.
Okay.
All right. Not so bad. So that's card number 2. Our last card, I think, is the easiest of the bunch. And you're not, yeah, nothing was hard here today.
No.
They make it very easy for us. So this one, they're very kind. They cut out the keyhole, and look what happens when you fold your card in half. There is a design on the inside of the card that shows through. So it looks very nice, but it's just something to keep in mind when you're filling out your love message that you might not want it to show through the center. So you'll write your message down here or on the inside. Just something to note. So there we go. We have our card. You can save your keyhole and do other things with it should you want to. But we're going to stamp just one time on this card. Yeah, I know. Crazy. And this time they used you hold the key to my heart, which is a lovely sentiment, I think. And we're just going to stamp this phrase onto the sentiment banner. There it is. Next. And again, you can use any of the sentiments you want. Any of them will work on this card. Okay, so now we're going to take the little vellum banner. And this one, we're pretty much covering up the whole thing. So I'm just going to put a strip of adhesive right in the middle. There you go. You can see that. And I'm going to lay it down right under the keyhole. Centered under the keyhole. And then we're going to use dimensionals to put our sentiment banner on. And again, I'm using 2 just because I feel like it. And it's going to go right over the other banner. I love the way that they show us different ways that we could be layering different punches that we have, different die cuts to add interest. Okay. And once you have that, we're just going to take the key and using regular adhesive. You don't need a lot. Could have used my wet adhesive for that. The key is going to go in the keyhole. Look at that. There we go. The key is in the keyhole, so now it's on the inside of the card. And we're going to make one more bow. This is about this. This is with the 6 inches. Again, I'm just eyeballing. And make a bow. While we're doing this, because it takes a second, right? We're gonna glue it down. So I did show you the card. Here. It's just gonna go in the center of the key or wherever you want it, of course. And we're gonna use the glue dot. But what I was gonna share is that you know, the kits are great and they have wonderful ideas, but there are all these elements and you can do lots of other things with it. So Nina, should you want more ideas, I'm going to show a few, maybe
Mhm.
9 or 10, but all you have to do is do a Google search on paper pumpkin. And then if you put January 2023 or whatever month you're using, it'll come up with all kinds of ideas and lots of people, like I'll be putting this video will be out there. I'm doing a very good job here because I'm talking, but I also create a reel so that on Instagram people can quickly see the different ideas, but lots of demonstrators all over the country are doing different projects. Now, one thing to note, I say all over the country because Paper Pumpkin is only available in the United States and Canada. So it's not available globally. And we have lots of other kits that are available to everyone. And they too have people who make alternative projects, but Paper Pumpkin by far, there are just millions of ideas out there. So I just choose a bunch that I think are fun. So those are our cards from the kit. So you can easily make others. But let's show you some of the alternative projects I found. This first one, something that I often do, and people now expect it, but the inside of the envelope has this pattern paper. And what I do is I just cut open the envelope and cut the paper to become a background on my card. And I just use some of our punches to cut out coordinating hearts. We have no shortage of hearts. And then I did a little gold one too, just because that's fun. So that's one. And then this card uses a Fresh Freesia base. And this is the inside of the one card that has the keyhole.
Ah.
Yeah, so I did that, and you'll see why in a minute, why I had that left over. But you can use the hearts to make your background. And this just to my Valentine, and I used a little of the Fresh Freesia ribbon, of which I happen to have a lot. So that's kind of fun. This one is using some petal pink cardstock and using the lock and key that are in the stamp set. Okay, to create the background, just using the same color ink. And then this is a piece from one of the card fronts. Easy peasy, but you can definitely extend, you know, if you need more than 9 cards, you can definitely do that. This card is made with, this oval is from the florets. What kind of florets are they, Lois?
Are they flourishing? I can't remember.
Flourishing florets. Thank you. So there's a bundle. I rely on my demonstrators because I have a terrible memory when it comes to the names. But again, I did the same background. And this time I just used actually the back of one of the cards. You'll see that the reverse side of this is actually white instead of the color. Just to use up some more because I cut open the card. And then I just punched from the center of one of the card fronts. You'll see that it's the same piece as they used here.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so some more ideas. This one isn't too far from one of the cards we made, but just different pieces. Put some more hearts in the background. Not that exciting. This one just used, I really like this stamp. This one with the swirlies. It makes a great background. And so I wanted to show how you could use that. And I just cut it into strips. Somebody did that and I thought it was eye-catching. So I thought I would do something similar. Oops.
Okay.
What I did. Yeah. And then next from that same Flourishing Florets, there's another oval that cuts out little hearts. Isn't that fun? And then I just cut out the other ovals that were in there. Very simple card. If you have the dies. And this was an attempt to use the keyhole. I don't know if I like it or not, but somebody had done something similar and I said, oh, let me give that a try, but not my favorite card. something you could do. All right, now remember I said about the tissue paper? I
Yes.
took tissue paper and I crumpled it up and I made it my background.
Oh,
I just taped it on the back and wrapped, I crumpled it, I flattened it out and then adhered it to the back. So that
Oh,
made
she's
a
clever.
background. Yeah, right? Very fun. And
I
then just
like
your
that.
heart. Yep. Very easy. But I don't usually use the
I know. I
I
don't think
know.
I ever can recall you doing that ever. So
I know. I was like, oh, let's do this today. And then anytime there's a window in a card, you think about making a shaker card. So here is I just use the foam dimensional. We have strips of it and I just went all the way around underneath and first I put a window sheet and then put the dimensional stuff. And then I added all my little glass beads in there.
so
Make a
fun.
fun window card, right?
Love window cards.
Yeah, so those are my alternative projects and they'll be up on my Facebook page. I actually posted the reel just before we got on because I could. I had taken the pictures. I'm never ahead of the game, never. So I was excited to be that. Let me move my camera. So does anybody have any questions or comments about this kit?
No, this is great. Now I can play with it more.
Yes, oh, there's lots of pieces left. You could do anything you want with. Have no fear, right? It's all there. It's all pre-cut. So it makes it fun. So if you have any interest in other classes, I hold my monthly Stamp a Stack on the second Friday of every month. So that's next Friday, a week from tomorrow, the 10th. I do it at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. and then again on Saturday morning, and we make 10 cards there. And I also have a Zoom class I do at the end of the month where we make 6 cards, 2 each of 3 designs. And we do that just like this via Zoom. So that makes it.
So the one on Friday, the 10th, what are you doing on that one?
We make 10 cards, 2 each of 5 designs, and I set up stations around my house. And I try to limit it to 10 people per class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it takes about 2 hours, maybe a little less, a little more, depending upon the crowd. And yeah, so those are just some of the classes that I offer. Lois, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I was going to mention that. So,
Okay, yeah.
If you have interest, let me know and we can send you some information on that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so we
It's
have a lot of fun.
usually a lot of fun and, a good group of people. So it's kind of nice and it's as much about cards as it is about social seeing
Right,
everybody.
yeah, a lot of socializing
True.
going on.
What was that?
A lot of socializing goes on.
Yeah, but it makes it fun and that's how I got started really, was coming to Brenda's classes, and 15 years later here I am.
Yeah, well, she's got that beautiful room. I don't have a beautiful room. We just take over my whole house and nobody's allowed in this office, as you can probably see behind me. We try not to look at that. I need to blur that. I figured out how to blur on my camera, on my phone, but I have to figure out how to do it on Zoom.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
can't do a
Lois, I
background.
what Lois is, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah.
I mean, I have been working on mine. I got lower to half of the room once COVID hit and my husband took the other half, but
Yeah.
Sure.
but now I kind of went into the closet because it's a spare room.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
most of my stuff is in there.
Oh, good for you.
Well,
Yeah.
and believe me, this happened when we moved here. I did not have this kind of space before, and I had half of the basement, and then slowly but surely I've been taking it
Yeah.
over. When the couch went back upstairs, I was like, that's it.
Right, the room's
This
yours.
is my space now.
Yeah.
And it's good when because I haven't in a while, but I'll be holding classes and stuff here, periodically here as well. So it's a good space for that. This space that I'm sitting at becomes a full extended table. So it's
Yeah.
kind of nice.
Yeah. Nina, where are you located?
I'm in Hillsborough, so
Oh,
I'm not
okay,
far
that's
from you, and I think Lois is in Flemington, if I remember.
No, I'm actually in Bridgewater.
Oh, you're in Bridgewater, so you're still
Yeah.
right next to me. Yep.
Yep,
Yeah.
just in the other direction.
And where do you scrapbook?
What do you mean, where do I scrapbook?
Do you go to Crops or do you just scrapbook on your own?
I scrapbook more on my own.
Okay.
Hillsborough High will have scrapbooking day once a year from 10 to
Yes.
10.
Yes,
And I
I've been
did
to
do
that.
that one.
Mhm.
I did miss it this last year, but I've been there every other year.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, as a matter of fact, as I said, my right-hand person with that moved to North Carolina, but we still get together every Sunday morning
Nice.
and card make.
That's awesome.
I have about, I feel like about 10 different albums started for scrapbooking that I got to get back to and finishing up.
Yeah.
And one of my other friends who used to do it has stopped. I think I got her kind of hooked. I made her daughter is getting married, and I
Mm.
made the shower invitations.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
I'm working on the shower thank you cards right now. I finally settled on a design for that.
oh, let's see.
Well, it's not in its finished state, but it will be something like that.
Oh, pretty.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Very nice.
Yeah, it took several variations. and
Yeah.
Which color do I like better? And then I added some sparkly stuff to it.
Uh-huh.
So I think that's the final version.
Yeah,
That's
that's
beautiful.
lovely. Yeah,
Um,
awesome. Okay, well, ladies, I'm gonna go walk the dog. And
okay.
tomorrow is gonna get super cold, so
Oh,
Yeah.
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 It's gonna be frigid. We have to go upstate New York.
Oh, boy. Eesh. That's a-
My daughter's up at Cornell, and she
Oh.
said they got the warning already that it's going to be between -20 and -30.
wow.
And then I
Oh,
said to her, all right, Carrie, make sure you have the food in the house. You know, and she's
Yeah.
28, and I still do this. Make sure you have enough food in the house.
Right.
And she said, no, yep, I went to Wegmans, I'm stocked. And I
Mhm.
said, good. I said, do you have a full tank of gas? Oh,
Mm, I
I
know.
go, "Here, just make sure you have a full tank of gas, just in case
Yeah,
the heat goes out
absolutely.
or anything." She
Yeah.
goes, oh, that's a good idea, Mom.
Yep.
At
Yeah,
least she's at the stage where she can acknowledge that it was a good idea.
Yes, true.
yeah, that's right. All right. Well, thank
Alrighty.
you very much for joining.
Nina, nice to meet you.
Yeah,
and
Nice to
yeah.
meet
I
you
will send
both.
out those catalogs. I'm pretty sure I have your address, and then I'll send you some information on Brenda's classes.
Yeah, you can just
Okay,
put that
great.
together. Okay, thank you.
Sounds good.
All right. Good night,
Bye.
Take care.
everybody. Bye.